Now first, who's been listening to the news recently? Especially in the past week. Who heard of Paul Walker? Who knows what Paul Walker is? Okay, what happened to Paul Walker, brother? Accident, he died, right? He died. What happened a few days later? Nelson Mandela died, right? Before Nelson Mandela died, everyone was thinking Paul Walker died, right? As soon as Nelson Mandela died, everyone forgot about Paul Walker, right? In a couple of days' time, everyone would forget about Nelson Mandela too, because someone else would die, right? And this is the reality of life, guys. And you know what? I'll tell you another news. All of us here, standing here right now, who have come here, we're all gonna die. One by one, every single one of us is gonna die. And this is the reality. And I know most people don't like to think about death. They don't wanna imagine things about death. They don't wanna think about death, but this is a reality. That's one thing every single one of us is sure about. We are all going to die, like it or not. And if this is the case, then why are we not thinking about profound questions that we all should be asking ourselves? Why am I here? Where have I come from? Where am I going? What is my purpose? Who created me? Why do I exist? Why aren't we thinking about these things when we're all on our way out? The reality is, within a couple of days, literally, it is only a handful of days, we will be dead. All of us. All of us will be. And this is the reality. And you know what is in the Quran? In the Quran, God makes a profound statement. He says, this life deludes you, it's an illusion. The life of this world is an illusion. You're being deluded, you're being kept away from the reality. Now what I want to do is I want to share with you a narration from one of the greatest theologians in Islamic history, Imam al-Ghazali. He said a profound thing, he said a profound statement. He said, imagine you're running, right? He said, imagine you're running and you're being chased by a lion. And the lion is in hot pursuit after you. And you run and you see a well. You jump into the well and you hold onto a rope. And when you look beneath you, you see a huge snake with his mouth wide open, waiting to eat you. And when you look above you, you see the lion circling the well. And you're holding onto this rope. And on top of the rope, just above your head, there are two mice. There's a black mouse and a white mouse, and they're nibbling away at this rope. And momentarily, you look in front of you, and you see a honeycomb. Everyone knows what's a honeycomb, right? Everyone knows what's a honeycomb? Yes? You see a honeycomb. You take your finger, you dip your finger into the honey, and you taste the honey. And for that split second, you forget about the lion above, the snake below, and the mice that are nibbling at the rope. This is the reality of this life, because the lion that's circling above is death, and it's always around us. The snake that's waiting for you to fall is your grave, and all of us will fall into our graves, and this is the reality. And the white and black mouse that are nibbling at the rope, can anyone guess what they are? The brother said it, that's the night and day eating away at your life. Brothers and sisters and friends, we are only a moment, a few moments. We're a number of days, that's all we are. That's the reality. So if this is the reality, what are we doing? Why are we not asking profound questions? Why are we not trying to find what the purpose is? Why are we here? Why were we created? In the Quran, God makes a profound statement. He says, do you think that we created you and played without purpose? Were you just created without purpose and then you won't return to us? Profound questions that we need to be asking ourselves. And the beautiful thing is that God in the Quran, He tells us what our purpose is. And it's very simple, it's very beautiful. He has created humankind and jinn to worship Him. That's it, it's that simple, to worship Him. Do good while you're here. Go help the poor for the sake of God. Help the elderly for the sake of God. Remove oppression on this earth for the sake of God. Do good while you're here. And your return is to the Creator. It's that simple. It's that simple. The last thing I want to mention before I finish, and I thank you for listening, is that who here has been ill? Has anyone suffered from an illness or a condition? I'm sure most of us have to some degree. Okay, has anyone seen anyone pass away? A family member, a mother or a father or a relative? Yes, many of us, right? Go back to that moment for a second. Remember looking at them for a second. Because the reality is we'll be in that place. And I want you to think about this for just a moment. The day that your death comes, you'll be lying in your deathbeds. you'll be looking around. Imagine how that would feel. Imagine the moment where your soul reaches your throat and it's about to escape you. Just imagine the moment and your whole life flashes by you. You remember everything you've done, and imagine at that very moment you realize the reality when the blindfold is removed. Don't be like the Pharaoh of Moses. Don't be like the Pharaoh of Moses, who then, when the water closed on top of him, he said, I believe in the God of Moses. Don't be like him. Don't be ignorant of this reality. Wake up before we wake up. Wake up before death wakes us up. Because God tells us, the Prophet peace be upon him told us, that at the moment of death, the veil is removed and you see the reality. You wake up to this reality. Right? Just imagine when a baby is about to be born in the mother's womb, if the baby could think, if the baby could ponder and reflect, would he say that all that exists is my mother's womb and nothing's beyond this? Think about this. Would he say this? There's nothing beyond this womb because I cannot see outside it at the moment? Of course not. We are in the same reality. This analogy applies. We live in this reality at the moment in this world. We think there's nothing beyond this, but there's a whole other reality. There is a whole other reality.